And of all the people it could have happened to, Loopy got the short end of the poopy.
Holy shit.
You're doing amazing. You got one more round. You got 5 minutes. You do this all day. Here's your mouth guard. You do this all day. 5 minutes. You can kill it in 5 minutes, okay? You got 5 minutes left. Be smart.
Loopy poopy. Hello, everybody. Hi, everybody. Wow. Welcome to the DynamiteGizmo podcast, everybody. Episode 246 or 7? I don't know, dude. I don't fucking know. I have no idea. I have no idea what episode it is. I didn't know last time, and I don't know this time because I don't have the card anymore. But here's today's card. It's tradition around here to show you the card, but it's not tradition to show you what's on the card, but you'll find out anyway because we'll talk about it. Because why? Because we'll talk about it. Because why? Because we'll talk about it. I need to see what episode I'm on. Because I need to know. I need to know that it's my show and I don't even know what episode I'm on. Okay, 2:45. It's 2:45. It's 2:45 in the afternoon. Loopy took a poop today. Why did Loopy have to take a poop? And of all the people who could have taken a shit. Uh-oh. Are we lagging? Are we good? Did you see the leg, or was that just for me? Was that just my leg? I hope the fuck it was. And of all the people who could have taken a shit, and of all the people who could have taken a fat fucking shit, dude, it was Loopy who had to fucking shit her pants. Loopy shit her pants. Well, she didn't shit her pants, but she was about to. She was on Helwani. And of course, Ariel's like, why'd you shit your pants, Loopy? Why'd you shit your pants? What are you, a poop pants? What are you, a little poop baby? Are you a little baby who shits her pants? That's what he said to her. No, I'm just kidding. Obviously, Ariel wouldn't say that. But he had to ask about the poop. He asked her about the shit, dude. He said, what happened? You had to shit or what? And she's like, yeah, I had to shit. I had stomach issues. I had to poop. Loopy's got to take a poopy. And now she'll forever be known as Loopy Poopy. Poopy Loopy. What kind of name is Loopy anyway? If your name's Loopy, if your name's Loopy, and if anyone's going to take a shit or have to take a shit during the middle of a UFC fight, it would be Loopy. She should change her name. She should change her nickname to Loopy Poopy, whatever the fuck her last name is. I have no idea. Anyway, we've got some shit to talk about today. Lots of good crumblies. We're gonna quickly touch on Joe Rogan since I touched on him a little bit last time. I want to follow up with that. Carlos Prates versus Jeff Neal is off, and Ian Machado Garry is stepping in, which is fantastic. We'll get into that later. Michael Chandler is saying that he wants to call out McGregor again after his fight next week, which we'll get into that a little later. And Dana White announces a partnership with Meta that could specifically revolves around the UFC. We all know that he joined the Meta board so he could help run their business because he's a little business boy. But they're also helping him out, which we'll get into that later. We're going to touch on Joe Rogan. Last episode, I talked about Joe Rogan not coming to Canada and explaining how not only has he not come to Canada since 2015, but it's not just that he's not avoiding Canada because he hates the citizens, he hates the government. And when he said, I'd rather go to Russia, he was joking. All this stuff that I said, he just reassured, he confirmed everything that I said, proving me right. Okay, because I've been getting a shit ton of hate. I don't read the comments. I just get glimpses of them. It's probably the most commented fucking TikTok I've ever put out. And the majority of it was hate. Which is great. Give me more. I don't care what it is. I'll take the hate. I'll take the comment. Give me a comment. But let's watch this clip here. If you take a look to the screen to my left. I don't know why I say that every time. It's not like you have to look left. You're looking in the same direction the whole time. But take a look, baby. He did an episode very recently with Francis Foster and Konstantin Kisin. Quite the name, dude. KK. Double K. Is his middle name K? Who knows? But this clip that I'm about to show you solidifies everything that I said. Everything that I said last episode. Everything that I said, dude. Joe Rogan confirms it here. Everything. And I'm not even exaggerating. Everything.
What's going on with that?
I don't know. I just want to say to the Canadian people, because I said the other day that I don't go to Canada anymore. I'd rather go to Russia. I was joking around, first of all, but I do not go to Canada anymore. But it's because of the government. It has nothing to do with the people. I think the people are fucking lovely. They're some of my favorite people of all time. Canadian people, I think, are 20% less douchey than Americans. I always say that. It's like Canada's like America, but 20% less douchebags. They're the nicest people. They're well educated. It's a great population. Montreal's amazing. Toronto's amazing. I love Canada. But when you start fucking closing people's
Yeah, Joe. Yeah. We get it, bro. See? I told you, he likes Canada, dude. He likes Canada. He doesn't like the government. Okay? But again, I need to reiterate here. Even if the government was beautiful, even if it was crispy clean, even if Joe Rogan was in love with Canada and in love with the government, he still wouldn't come here for UFC 315. Right? That's the number? You want to know why? Because he doesn't leave the States. So either way, the point's moot. I used to think it was mute, but apparently it's moot. But I don't need to touch on this anymore. That's all we're saying about that. That's done and gone. It's in the past. We need to talk about the future, baby. And speaking of the future, Ian Machado Garry was stepping up to the plate. Again, he stepped up to the plate to fight Shavkat. Now he's stepping up to the plate to fight fucking Carlos Prates, dude. He's stepping up. And you know what? I like this fight better than Jeff Neal. I'm a little disappointed that Carlos Prates doesn't get to fight on 314 alongside Jean Silva. But still going to be a great card. Okay? And now Carlos Prates and Ian Garry are headlining the card that fucking Jamal Hill and Khalil were supposed to headline. Because guess what? Jamal Hill's injured, so now he's out. Which I was actually looking forward to that fight. But I got to be honest, I'm much more looking forward to Carlos Prates and Ian Garry. I like Khalil. I'm kind of a fan of Jamal Hill. I could take him or leave him. But I love Ian Garry, dude. This guy's a menace. Stepping up to the plate again. Another short notice fight. He short notice fought Shavkat. Now he's short notice fucking fighting Carlos Prates. He's going in with the Sharks, baby. Okay? And this is another one of those situations. This is another one of those situations where it's like, who do I pick? Because it was just like MVP versus Ian Garry. I didn't know who to go for. I forgot to show this. Do we really need to see it? Kansas City, baby. Khalil, Jamal Hill, they're out. And the big boys are in. Well, they're smaller boys, but they're big boys. Big boys. When you look at this matchup, this is a great matchup. This is a fantastic matchup. Fantastic. I like this better than Jeff Neal. Fuck Jeff Neal. Fuck him. Right in his arse. I'm just kidding. Don't do that. Because I was worried, because we all heard the announcement a few days ago that Carlos Prates isn't going to fight Jeff Neal because Jeff Neal was out on an injury. So I was worried, amongst other people, that they weren't going to give Carlos another matchup. Because look at what they're doing with Khalil. They're just like, fuck you, dude. Not only you're not headlining anymore, you're not even on the card. Hey, go fuck yourself. Get out of here, Khalil. So I didn't want them to do my boy Carlos Prates like that. Okay, that smoking son of a bitch. He likes to smoke cigarettes. A lot of them, too. So I thought they were going to do him dirty, but they didn't. They did him nice. And Ian Garry, man, he doesn't disappoint. He's always stepping up to the plate. He's fucking down, dude. If you didn't like Ian Garry before, and you didn't like Ian Garry again, and you didn't like Ian Garry again, you have to like him now. You have no choice. Sean Strickland used to shit on Ian Garry. There was that little moment there where Sean Strickland put a bad taste in everyone's mouth for Ian Garry, especially those who didn't know Ian Garry. But then Ian Garry was like, fuck you, I'm going to fight MVP, and he won. And then I'm going to fight Shavkat, and he didn't win, but it was short notice, and it was Shavkat, but he stepped up to the plate, and now he's doing it again with Carlos. And you know what? Even though Ian Garry was undefeated, right up until Shavkat, which was his most recent fight, he honestly put up a good battle against Shavkat. He showed the world that he can walk with the boogeyman of the welterweight division. Everyone's scared of Shavy. Everyone's scared of the cot. But he went in there, and he fucked around, and he didn't win, but it was kind of an even match. And Ian Garry has become one of my favorite fighters, by far. Love Ian Garry. Love him. But so is Carlos Prates, along with all the fighting nerds, or at least the 4 of them that are in the UFC. Well, I should say 5 because of Bruna, or whatever her name is, that fighting nerd, the chick. It's Bruna, or Brazil, whatever the fuck her name is. But the fighting nerds. They're all great, dude. So this is one of those matchups, just like it was with MVP versus Ian Garry. I didn't know who to pick, and I don't remember who I picked. I think I went for MVP, and Ian Garry took it. So I'm going to be happy either way, but here's what I'm thinking. It's tough because I want both to win, and we obviously can't have that, so I have to pick one. Okay? I want it to go one way more than the other, which obviously, okay? So look at this, okay? So Carlos Prates, he's fairly new to the UFC, but in the last year, he has already had 4 fights, undefeated still, and all his wins out of the 4 fights that he's had in the UFC were all knockouts. Guy's a fucking talented badass, dude. Comes in, throws some fists, knocks some guys out, bada boom, bada bing. Fighting nerds are the shit, okay? Collectively, they're all great. So, of course, I would love to see the legacy of the fighting nerds continue onwards so that they continue collectively their undefeated streak. But here's the thing. Carlos is fresh into the UFC world. He's really only been here a year and a little bit, maybe. Okay? So even if Carlos Prates loses to Ian Garry in Kansas City, this isn't even going to affect his career in the slightest. He's ranked number 13. Ian Garry's ranked number 7, okay? Carlos is down here. Ian's up here. So obviously if Carlos wins, it's going to bump him right up. But if he loses, it's not even going to affect him even the slightest. Okay? he'll lose he'll lose this fight, and he'll continue on, and he'll rise up those ranks regardless, whether or not he wins or loses against Ian Garry. And I could even see him getting to a point, and it's more than likely going to happen, where Carlos fights and probably even wins the title. Because if he loses against Ian Garry, he's still going to be ranked number 13. He might get pushed down maybe a little bit, but either way, he's still going to be in the rankings. And he's still fresh. He's got so many years ahead of him. He's got so much time to climb back up. So win or lose, Carlos Prates is going to be fine. Whereas Ian Garry, on the other hand, he's ranked number 7. He's coming off a loss. Mind you, that loss was to Shavkat, and it was his only loss that he's had so far. But he's been rising up the ranks like mad. He's been in the UFC for a little bit now. If he loses this fight, it will excel Carlos fast, and it will knock Ian Garry down quite a bit. Which, again, I wouldn't be too upset about, because I fighting nerds, I want to see them rise up. But I got to be honest, I at least want to see Ian Garry go for the title. He doesn't even have to win the title. I just want to see him have that opportunity to fight for the belt. I want to see him get there, and specifically sooner than later. So if he loses against Carlos, that's going to knock those chances out of the field division. All right, it's going to push him back down, and he's going to have to fucking climb his way back up the ranks again. All right, when he's escalating, he's getting there rapidly. If he loses to Carlos, he's going to shoot him back down the ladder. I want to at least see Ian Garry get that title shot. At least just get the shot. He doesn't even have to win. I just want to see him go for the belt. At least once. So that's why I'm going for Ian Garry in this. As much as I love Carlos, as much as I love the fighting nerds collectively, and obviously I want to see them succeed wildly, collectively, together, I'm rooting for Ian on this one. I'm rooting for Ian, which may sound crazy, but that's my rationale. I want Ian to get that belt, or at least get a chance at the belt first. Let Ian get the chance at the belt, and Carlos will get there. No matter what, Carlos is going to get there. And you know what? If Ian Garry wins this fight as well, it's just going to really shine a light on Ian Garry. We're going to be like, okay, yeah, he couldn't defeat... It was a close matchup between Shavkat. By the way, Shavkat was, I think, sick at the time, too. He had something going on. But he didn't beat Shavkat, but he's back in business, baby. He's coming right back in. Stronger than fucking ever, dude. And that's what we need for the Ian Garry Meister. Let's listen to what he has to say here. He's fucking naked in his bedroom. He's got some shit he has to get off his chest.
Right, it's official. You've got a new main event. Kansas City, Missouri. Me versus Carlos Prates. April 26th. I'm excited. Why? The UFC go, we need someone. Who do we need? Who do we call? You call me. Why? Because I'm a real fighter who wants to fight the best in the world. I'm going to show everybody how good I am. Carlos Prates is awesome, but this is my world. I love to fight. There's nothing more I love in this world than fighting. Missouri, Kansas City, let's go. Ireland, get your tickets, get your flights. Brazil, get your tickets, get your flights. And Brazil, desculpa, vocês têm 2 brasileiros nessa luta. Vamos lá. Prates, vi você abril 26.
Yeah, I know what you said there. I don't know what he said. I don't know what he said at the end. I don't speak Spanish. There was no translating subtitles. All I know is, how can you hate Ian Garry at this point, dude? How can you hate him? You can't. You have no choice. You have no fucking choice, dude. Nothing. No choice. All right, we're moving on. Moving on to the next topic here, shall we? Okay, I need everyone to take a look at the screen now. If you're not looking at the screen, you need to look at it right now. Look at this wild fucking maniac. I'm going to do my job on April 12th, and then I'll call out Conor McGregor again. Oh, Chandler. Oh, Chandler. Listen, Michael Chandler, I don't think you're going to win against Patty. And I'm not voting for you to win against Patty. I wouldn't be that disappointed if you did win, but this is not like Ian Garry and Carlos Prates. I want Patty Pimblett to win, and I think he is going to win. And you know what? I think even if Patty does win, they're obviously going to give the mic to Chandler, and he's obviously going to call out Conor McGregor. I mean, he said it here. He said it here. It's not. Well, here's what I'll say. Okay, so we saw Conor post-fight press conference for the BKFC, the Bear Kentucky Fried Chicken. And a journalist asked him a question, and he says he's happy with what he's done, and there's something else in his gut right now, which is he's referring to him running for president of Ireland. Okay, we saw him at the White House. It tickled his fancy. Now he wants to be the president of Ireland. Is that going to happen? No. But immediately after, he then goes on to say that the money needs to be right. He says, I know my worth, and a fighter needs to know his worth. So I need to make sure that the money is right. And if it is right, it will be the biggest comeback ever, says Conor. And then he follows up by saying he thinks it will happen for sure. So there was a lot of people in the media just saying, like, Conor's hinting at not coming back. Which I don't even think he's going to come back, whether or not he's hinting or not. There's no way that boy's coming back. But let's just watch. We're just going to watch this clip. Okay? Just a quick little clip. Plug her in here.
Conor, you keep saying that you're going to fight in bare knuckles, so when is it going to happen?
You know, like I said, I've got 2 fights on the contract. I'm in negotiations. Last week something happened to me. I went to the White House, and my country is in my, my heart bleeds for my country right now. So there's a lot of stuff going on back home. I'm happy with what I've done. You know, there's something else for me that's in my gut right now. And that's kind of where I'm going. So we'll see. Greatness don't rush also. Greatness does not rush. There was an opportunity or a deal, we'll say, to fight in Alcatraz, only recent. There's an event going on in Alcatraz in, I believe, June. And they came to me, and it wasn't my worth. You know, as a fighter, we've got to know our worth. I hold every pay-per-view record in the book. I hold every gate record in the book. And my comeback will be slated as the greatest comeback or the biggest, most anticipated comeback of all time. So it has to be right. And right now, Ireland is in my thoughts. And that's where I'm at. It will happen, I'm sure. And it's always great to be here. And there you go.
It will happen, I'm sure. It's not happening. It's not happening. He's not coming back. And let me say this. Okay? I've said this many times, but I'll just say it again quickly. I, amongst others, loved Conor in his prime. And leading up to his prime. Okay? Loved what he did for the sport. Loved the way he talked, his focus, his skill, the things he would say, the way he visualized his fights, and then he would come out and conquer the fights the exact way that he visualized it. It was beautiful. For those who are new into the sport now and don't know about that Conor, you got to go back and check that Conor out. That Conor was on another level. That was... it was pure focus and the definition of manifesting speech into existence. Oh, it was beautiful. But at this point, from all the shit we've been seeing Conor get up to over the past few years, I don't want him back. I don't even want him to come back into the UFC. It would be hyped simply because of the fact that it was Conor McGregor coming back. And I wanted him back last year. And it was supposed to happen a couple times. And I was looking forward to it. But this year, I don't want him back. I don't want him back. Look at the state of him. Even if, for whatever reason, he did come back, it would be shit. It would not be good. Okay? As a fan of the sport, if we're looking at this from the perspective of a fan of the sport, I think Chandler needs to move on from Conor. But from the perspective of actually Chandler himself, I understand why he's pushing for it. I mean, it's obvious. He absolutely should keep pushing for this fight because it's guaranteed to make loads of money. Like a shit ton of money, okay? These guys fight. They do it for the love of the sport, but they're doing it for money. It's always about the money, and that goes without saying. So that's all we're seeing here. And as much as I said I loved the old Conor, the new Conor doesn't stand a chance against anybody. It doesn't matter who he fights against if he comes back. He's not winning. I guarantee you he's not winning. He doesn't have that focus. He doesn't have that drive. He's been fucking snorting coke and partying nonstop for the past few years. He's not training. He's not putting in the work that these guys are putting in. These guys are dedicating their whole lives to become the best in the world, which Conor used to do. He's given up on that for years now. For him to come back, it's not gonna be good. I would argue that any of the top 15 contenders in whichever weight class Conor's in now would smoke him. Maybe in every single weight class. Maybe even in flyweight, he would get fucking owned by any of the top 15 contenders. The Conor we once knew and loved is gone. We'll never see that man again. I think the second he stepped into the octagon, all and any hype that he has ever had or currently has would be vanquished. It would actually ruin his reputation for him to come back. It's probably the worst thing he could do right now is come back into fighting. It's over. He had his shot. It's done. He can't come back. Because right now the casuals and all the like unfollowers of the UFC who only know the name Conor McGregor, the people who don't follow UFC at all, they don't know the full extent of Conor's fall off. So him stepping back into the octagon guarantees that the whole world is going to tune into it, but then the whole world is going to see how bad he is now. They're going to see how trash he is, not only as a fighter, but as a person. I'm not saying he's a trashy person, but he's not this. He doesn't have the same morals and respect as he once did. He doesn't come across as that genuine guy who could shit talk and go into the ring and lay it all out there with what he said he was going to do. Those people who would tune in to the Conor McGregor fight are the same people who tuned into the Mike Tyson and Jake Paul fight. They're showing up just because of the name, and then they're going to leave completely disappointed. Because they're going to be like, I thought Conor McGregor was the greatest of all time. No. He's a piece of trash. He can't do it anymore. And he shouldn't do it anymore. I don't think there's anything he can do to redeem himself fighting-wise. He's getting old now too. So that's a huge factor. So I guess like overall, it's only a win-win for Chandler. Because if Chandler fights Conor, he's going to get the money. He's going to defeat Conor, which that's going to be on his record, which means he's going to be the new king, I guess. But Conor doesn't really have that king status anymore. But regardless, Chandler will get that money. So I think next weekend we're going to see whether or not Chandler wins or loses, he's going to call out McGregor. They always give the mic to Chandler no matter what direction the fight goes. Chandler always gets the mic, which I don't know why, but that's what happens. And it's because they want him to call out McGregor. But it's not happening. And I don't know what they're going to do. Like, can they just remove him from the contract? He's had 2 fights left on his contract for the past, 5 fucking years. So I don't know what's going to happen. But here's a clip of Chandler with the schmo. Just kind of touching on this subject a little bit here. Great interview, by the way. Go check out the schmo.
What are we gonna do here?
Yeah, I didn't know he was in South Florida. Didn't know he was a bare knuckle. Didn't know any of that stuff. Obviously, I'm covered up in training camp. Yeah, I mean, he's making that push for the president of Ireland. You know, we'll see how true it is, how real it is, how much of a publicity stunt it is. As you guys can see, obviously, you know, we had the tough 31 deal. Waited for Conor for a little bit. Got the fight booked. He pulled out of the fight. Who knows if he's ever coming back? But you can see by my actions fighting Oliveira in November and now Patty in April, I'm not sitting around waiting for Conor. He knows his road back to the UFC goes through me. We have to finish the Ultimate Fighter 31. We still have a contract with both of our names on it, even though he was not a man of his word in showing up. First time he has ever pulled out of a fight was against me in his entire career. So I don't think he wants that to be his legacy. However, if he does, I wish him well in his presidency run in Ireland. And but if he comes back to the UFC, he's got to fight me.
If he steps foot inside a cage again, it has to be against Iron Michael Chandler.
I think so. I mean, I'm campaigning for that. Obviously, I want that chapter of my life to be closed. I'm not sitting here saying I'm entitled to it. Nobody's entitled to anything ever in life. But I will say, obviously, you know, being a man of your word, signing your name to the dotted line is something that I take very seriously. You know, your word is your bond, and without your word, you're no good. So we'll see. I mean, I think it's a fight people want to see. I think it's a fight that even the people who kind of are like over it, you know, quote unquote, over the whole Chandler versus McGregor Ultimate Fighter saga thing, it's still a fight that people want to see. I'm still the guy who puts butts in seats and sells pay-per-views. I'm still the guy who is at the top of the ticket every single time I fight, and somehow win, lose, or draw, I'm in fight of the night, fight of the year, performance of the night, does not matter. So I've got the resume to speak of. He's got the following, and I think he's also got the hunger to come back, even though everybody has written him off. So we'll see how it plays out.
Stephen A. Smith is...
I don't think people want this fight. At least I don't. Or the people who are fans of the UFC don't want that fight. The only people that want that fight are the people who don't give a fuck. The cashies. Those are the people who want that fight. And I'm telling you, if he comes back, it ain't going to be anything. It ain't going to be good, baby. It ain't going to be good. But we'll see next week. I can't wait for next week, by the way. 314 is going to be flip those sausages, baby. Get those sausages cooking. Flip those burgers. 314 is going to be a fucking sick card. And we're not going to touch on it because we don't touch on it until the UFC countdown week, which is next week. I have an ungodly amount of shit to talk about next week, and I'm probably not even going to get to it all. But there is a fight night this weekend. Josh Emmett versus Lerone Murphy. I did make fight prediction sheets for that, so they will be in the drive. Link will be in the description if you want that shit. So go and get it. Okay? And if you don't know what the fight prediction sheets are, just go to the description, click the link, and you'll see what I'm talking about. Okay? But we're going to touch on that next week as well for UFC 314. And this weekend, I'm probably going to live stream myself making the fight prediction sheet for UFC 314. But we need to move on to our final topic of discussion, which is Dana White, Nathaniel Whiteth, has just announced today that he is, or the UFC is partnering with Meta to do some AI crazy shit, dude. So let's watch this clip. Let me just get up and running here. Yesterday was nuts, by the way, because it was April Fool's, so there were so many fucking fake UFC announcements, and it was driving me crazy. And I saw this, and I didn't even know if this was real, but it is real, so let's check it out.
What's up, everybody? UFC and Meta just signed a massive long-term partnership. Meta will now become UFC's first ever official fan technology partner. This is great news for UFC fans. Why? Because this means that Meta will use all of their badass apps and technology like Instagram, Facebook, Threads, WhatsApp, and Meta AI to create amazing content and experiences for UFC fans. We've already started to work with Meta to create a new fighter ranking system that will debut later this year, thank God. We'll also be using Meta's AI-powered glasses to capture UFC content, and we're going to do things with Meta that will blow UFC fans away. The next few years will be an absolute game changer for fans of this sport. Stay tuned, everybody.
Stay tuned. Now, I don't exactly know what the fuck this is talking about. I don't exactly know what's going on, but let's just touch on it a little bit, okay? He said it will use AI technology to create amazing UFC content for fans. What exactly does this mean? I don't know. But I think it's probably going to be like Meta's going to, like, you know, be aware of what fights are coming up and what cards. And it's going to, you know, maybe make compilations of, like, statistics and facts about fighters and news and whatnot. But it's going to happen instantaneously because it's fucking AI. So it's going to kill all the content creators. I'm just kidding. No, I'm sure it'll be something like that, maybe. It might even do compilations and edits of fights. I don't know, dude. What's it going to do? I'm not exactly sure. The biggest thing about this, my lips are really dry. I've been rubbing the shit out of them. The weather here in Canada, dry, because it's transitioning from winter to spring, and fucking everybody's lips get too chapped. Doesn't matter. The biggest thing about this, though, that people are fucking scranookying about, people are grabbing their testicles and twisting them when they heard this news. The AI-based fighter ranking system. Whoa. I think this is actually fantastic, by the way. There's a lot of things that AI does bad and that AI shouldn't be involved with. Specifically, like, I don't know, I don't have an example. But when it comes to creating rankings or scoring events based off of data alone, I think AI is the perfect thing for that. Because when you allow human beings to do it, they fuck up. And they use their own personal interests to kind of skew it a little bit. Their decision-making isn't as accurate as a computer could be. So allowing the AI to do it is fantastic. Because we all disagree with the rankings. And the rankings, from what I remember, are based off of fucking media members. It's not even like a collective group of referees or fight judges or anything. It's like media members who do the rankings. It's really weird. So it's for the most part, it's pretty accurate, but it's a little sloppy here and there. So we bring AI in there. It's going to clean it up, and it's going to do the rankings completely based off of statistical data. Truth. There's no bias whatsoever. And the great thing about it is it's going to happen instantaneously. Well, at least I think it will. Because why? It's AI. Why would it need time? It's going to be more accurate, organized, based on actual facts, stats of the fighters. You won't be waiting days, sometimes even weeks, for the list to update. So I'm assuming, like, immediately after a fight card finishes, the AI will just automatically do its thing, come in, adjust the rankings based off of all the fights that happen throughout the night. It'll either keep it the same or it'll adjust or whatever. It'll do whatever needs to be done to make sure that the rankings are always accurate, specific, and up to date immediately. Imagine how great that would be. You know, we get done 314, we log on to the UFC app, immediately the rankings are adjusted. And then Dana could even get on the post-fight fucking conference and talk about it and be like, yeah, well, AI chose this, and it's pretty accurate. So now, Dana didn't say that the AI is going to be doing the judging as well, but I'm assuming down the road, this AI shit is going to be taking over the judges' roles as well, which I also think is good. We already seen, and by the way, we already seen AI judging in the Paul versus Tyson fight. They had actual judges, but then they also had an AI judge just to compare with the actual judges to see. And when you looked at the AI judge compared to the real judges, it was damn near bang on accurate. It was pretty cool. Because as we've seen over the past years, there's a lot, not a lot, but there is a lot of times where the judging is just fucking horse shit. Where we think it's went one way and it didn't go that way at all. All right? So if we have AI judges in there and AI rankings, I think that's the most smoothest way it could be. I'm sure, like, if they do the AI judges, they will have actual judges as well alongside the AI, just like the Jake Paul and Tyson fight. Like the Jake Paul and Tyson fight, that AI judge, that was a test. That was literally just to see if this technology could be capable of doing this accurately, and it worked fantastically. So I think if they do it in the UFC, they will they'll have actual judges as well, right alongside the AI. And maybe they'll just always have AI and actual judges forever. But I think at the start, obviously, they'll just have the AI and the actual judges. And then they might just eventually phase out the actual judges completely. And then just have the AI, which I'd be totally fine with, as long as it works well, and I'm sure it will. And then Dana also said something about the Meta glasses to capture UFC content. Who knows what the plan is for that? Maybe he'll have the glasses on the fighters as they do their walkouts for the weigh-ins, wearing the glasses while they're training. You can watch all kinds of behind-the-scenes, backstage stuff. Who knows what's going to happen? The glasses are cool, and it's a cool idea, but it depends what situation you use them. Because if you have the glasses on the fighters as they come out for the weigh-ins, that means they're going to be wearing the glasses and going to be filmed wearing the glasses. So that means everyone's going to have glasses on. It's going to look a little weird. It's going to look like everyone's a fighting nerd. Now, if it's the fighting nerds who are fighting, they're already wearing glasses, so it's going to be all right. It's going to be cool. They're ahead of the game, baby. So, you know, just as always, whenever Dana announces something, the first announcement is always very vague. Always vague. Just a generalized statement. Just to get people talking about it. Doesn't get into detail. And it's done on purpose. So it's a lot of speculation. Because it's still kind of foggy as to what exactly is happening with this AI shit. But it can only be good. Like, what? This is the way the world's going. You need to jump on this shit. So, of course, they're going to do this. Whether or not you agree or disagree, you want things to be the old ways, guess what? Go fuck yourself. Go fuck yourself. How about that? It can't. You can't just have everything be the old ways. You have to progress. You have no choice. It's either progress or die. Okay? But I just want you to think about what's been happening with the UFC just recently. Every year there's massive news about UFC. The UFC is building upon itself and making itself better every single fucking year, dude. Just think about what's been happening recently. The UFC right now is gaining more popularity than ever before. And it always progressively increases over the years. But recently it's really been getting... But whether you believe it or not, it is. Okay? They've teamed up with Meta. Their ESPN deal is coming to an end. So we may see UFC on Netflix at the best prices we've ever seen, or possibly even free with a Netflix subscription, mind you, if it is going this route. And we're going to have the best ranking, judging, and exclusive content that's ever been seen on the UFC in history. Look at what's like. It's coming around, dude. It's getting nice. It's coming nice. Yeah, we've got some bad champs right now, but there's some nice things on the horizon. Once this ESPN deal is done, I hope that we're going to have some fucking fantastic news about who the next provider is for the live events. Right now it's foggy. Man, I could be wrong, but I'm predicting amazing things to come. Imagine having UFC be exactly like wrestling. You turn on Netflix and there it is. Oh, it'd be nice, dude. But who knows? Anyway. That's it for this episode of the DynamiteGizmo podcast. Be sure to subscribe because, like I said, I have a Fighting Nerds video essay coming out. It's going to have to be out next week. It creeped up on me so fast. I've been working on this forever. It's going to be out next week. For sure. I have no choice but to put it out next week. So subscribe for that shit. And that's it.